Remember when the music just felt so good?
Beings of Earth, we interrupt your evening schedule to bring you a large dose of custom sustainable fashion. This show features bright lights and may not be suitable for those suffering with epilepsy. It contains visual concepts that may challenge opinions and introduce new ideas. This video may change your thinking around how you consume fashion and help to educate others. Let us embark on this journey together as we bring you Gaia Mindful Fashion.
You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling.
Ethical Rebel is it was initially set up to produce an ethical fashion magazine, more raising awareness about issues in the fashion industry than being about glamorizing fashion, if that makes sense. And we also set up ethical fashion directory so that it's easier for people to find the ethical clothing, because a lot of people struggle to find clothing that is ethically made. Yeah. It's really difficult because there are so many. That I think that probably the biggest issue is the fact that there are so many issues that need sorting out, and the fact that it's a global problem. It's not just something you can isolate in one spot and just sort it out. It's something that's ingrained, if you like, in the whole supply chain for most businesses. So it's just the sheer scale of it and the scope of it. The biggest thing is to stay informed and keep an eye on what's happening. Because the news, I mean, it's constantly changing all the time. And while some things are being dealt with, other things are not. So I think there's more of an emphasis on getting eco-friendly products, but not so much at the moment on making sure that the garment workers are being paid their living wage, or even being paid a minimum wage in a lot of countries. So it's just being aware as you're aware when you go shopping, you're more clicked into what to look for. Whereas if you just go out shopping, you have no idea what's going on in the world, then you're just going to grab the bargain because it's there. I mean, so it is staying aware, and for businesses particularly as well, that's staying aware about what other businesses are doing, so best practices that other people are putting into place. And the community, the sustainable fashion community, is really friendly. It's very supportive, so, and they're very happy to share sustainable practices with people, you know, who want to up their game. So, yeah. Well, we're putting out another magazine fairly soon on. So the magazine we did last time was the impact on garment workers. The one we're putting out this time is the impact on the environment. And we're hoping to do a crowdfunder to get more of those copies into student libraries again, because that was very well received last time. And we're also looking at developing a circular fashion shop, sustainable clothing, and then up the cut clothing, so vintage, but so people have a chance to buy them as they are. But then if they don't sell, then we remake them into new clothes, different clothes. Yeah, circular shop.
You made me so.
I design dresses and skirts and tops, and I get them made in Rajasthan, India. And we only use natural fibers, which include cotton, linen, hemp cotton, and bamboo. And as these are all plant-based fibers rather than plastic materials, they're much better for the planet. We also only make in very small batches, so there's no waste, and it's always a very limited edition. I also work really closely with my tailors. I'm actually really good friends with them. The production team is tiny, featuring just one master tailor who cuts samples and brings my ideas to life.
I'm also present most of the time for my collections. Obviously, right now I can't be, but luckily they already have a lot of my samples. And just this morning, actually, I had a WhatsApp video call with my tailor, Govinda, and I sent him a parcel, and he opened the parcel, and then he tried on the skirt, and I was telling him exactly how I want it to be, the skirt that I sent over, and then I want it to be made different for my collection. So that's quite fun. So we've been doing stuff like that, like videos, Zoom calls, and WhatsApp calls, and just him putting on like samples of dresses that I sent over, and yeah, it's all a bit of fun, really. But yeah, I use a lot of block printing in my designs, which is a traditional technique. This is a great way of providing opportunity for the local artisans to preserve their traditions. But yeah, not only is my business something I really believe in, it creates dependable jobs that pay prospective wages. And the process in which my clothing line is created provides a fair trade employment for tailors, raising the standard of living for their families, ensuring that they have a better way of life without leaving a carbon footprint. So I think, yeah, the most important thing for me is using natural, sustainable fibres. Obviously, locally made stuff is much better for our planet, and ideally that's what I'd be doing. But yeah, I do struggle with the shipping side of things because it is very expensive. I know, I don't really like the air miles and stuff like that. But because I'm such a good friend with Govinda and his family, I know his son, I know his wife, I know his brother. His brother's part of the business, and his family always there. I eat lunch with them every time I'm there. I'm sitting on the floor eating his wife's made food. I feel a really strong connection with them. And it's just things like, for my first ever production, there was one tailor who was having a really bad time. His daughter was really sick, and he had come a long way just to make money. And because I was doing production with him, with Linda, this said tailor could buy a smartphone, so he could speak to his daughter, and he could save the money to put his daughter in hospital and get her better. So it's things like this that I think that I feel good about, and it's getting to know the people, and because of this, so many fashion designers that work with the same tailors as I do pulled out because they're not doing festivals, not making any money, their business is not happening, and it's really affected the economy in Pushkar where I get my clothes made. So Govinda all the time is personally thanking me and saying how happy he is that I'm still doing business with him. Otherwise, it would ruin all of their work. And India is a third world country. It's different. Like, if they don't have business, they can't buy food and they will die or be homeless or be beggars. It's not like here where they get looked after. So yeah, I feel good about the collaboration, I guess, and the team that I work with. Biggest issues are with fast fashion. This is how around the 90s that fast fashion became like a massive thing. And it means using the cheapest materials, so lots of acrylic and synthetic fibers, which are produced really cheaply, and then really cheap labor. So they have these huge factories in Indonesia, India, Bangladesh, all over really. And because it's such a high demand of these clothes, the workers are treated really badly, and they get paid next to nothing, and they're in really bad conditions. There was this factory called the Rana Plaza, which a few years ago it's Bangladesh, and it collapsed a few years ago, which killed a lot of its workers and injured a lot of them. So there was cracks in the ceilings, cracks in the walls, lots of hazards, fires from the rundown sewing machines, things like this. And the escape routes, the fire escapes were blocked, and all these things. And the workers complained. If they complained, they'd get beaten up, and their money would get taken off them. So they just had to really stop complaining. And then one day, it collapsed, and that was it. Some people never found their husbands, their wives, their children. They were just lost in the rubble, and a lot of people ended up being injured from it. And they worked with Rana Plaza, with the factory. They denied having any contact with them. They denied all responsibility, which is really terrible. I think it's an awful thing as a fashion business to how can you do that? That's so morally wrong. For these are real people, they're human beings too, yet they're treated like they're nothing. They get paid at a ridiculously low wage. I'll never step into one of those shops again, just knowing where the clothes are made and how they're made. Also, because of this fast fashion, in the sale, you can get tops for £5 or even £2. And because of this, people are addicted to shopping because they can get a quick fix and buy a t-shirt and some jeans for really cheap. And then the next week or the next month, not like it anymore, they just get rid of it, just throw it away. And because of this, landfill has become a huge problem. Yeah, the waste it produces is absolutely horrific, to be honest. I think businesses can work with a lot more sustainable fibers and natural fibers rather than the synthetic ones that will break down better, ones that are better for the planet. Also, they can just make less, not produce so many clothes all the time. Like, it's unrealistic and it's ridiculous actually how much fashion changes. Like, every single day there's like a new item that's like fashionable, which is always ridiculous. Back in like the 70s and 80s, it was like the style would last for ages and people would be into that. But nowadays it's just so quick moving that people have to constantly buy more to keep up with the latest trends. And this is causing all the waste from the year before. That's not a style anymore. So people throw away all their last year's summer's clothes, and then next summer they get a new summer wardrobe, which is absolutely ridiculous. I think if businesses focus more on like capsule fashion items and ones that will last for years and years and years. For example, I'm wearing this second-hand Paul Costello cashmere jumper. This will last me years and years. I'll probably have this forever because it's such a beautiful jumper and it's a nice fit and it's good fabric. So I think people need to think more about getting items of clothing that will last them forever rather than just for a year or less than a year. And I think fashion businesses, they have a duty to the world to promote that, and I think it can be very difficult for consumers because they don't know the impact that fashion has on the planet. So I think there need to be more campaigns and people need to be more aware, because I didn't know this several years ago. And I started doing research, I started looking into it, and I wanted to make clothes, and it was important to me to be able to make clothes that didn't affect the world in a negative way. So because I know this, I would now never buy anything brand new because I feel guilty for all the things that I did buy brand new in the past, and I want to buy things that would last. So I think if more people are aware of this, they would do similar things. I designed these bags recently, made from polyethylene, and they're 100% biodegradable. If you put it in the ground, in 6 months' time, it'll be gone. It's actually quite good for the soil. So yeah, my clothes now come in these biodegradable bags, and then also the nice packaging I use is recycled sari bags, which are really nice. And then the customer can also use the bags to put other things in. I keep my underwear in them because they're so nice. And I only use biodegradable mailing bags, and I make all the thank you notes myself, just on like recycled brown card, just like this. So I think that's a step forwards to make my business more environmentally friendly. Also, there are some more steps I would like to do. I would like to go more organic with my fibers. I'm not 100% there yet, but I would have to wait until I can go to India again and source fibers myself, or source material myself. Also, with the dyeing process, my clothes are hand dyed, but I want to make the dyes myself out of plants. I think this step will, definitely make my clothing line more sustainable, but it's something I have to be there in order to make the dyes myself. And so I'm not 100% as sustainable as I would like to be, but definitely I'm looking towards doing that, to be honest.
Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good? You gotta bring back that feeling. Remember when the music just felt so good?
Okay, well, I think my business is sustainable fashion because it's slow fashion, so every single piece is handmade by myself. I'm not outsourcing from foreign countries, so there's no air miles. Yeah, I think the biggest issues, I think there's two. I mean, the first one, and perhaps the biggest one, is the pollution of producing on the planet and in carbon footprint. And I just think it's really sad. Also, like the workers, that they absorb the pollutant through the skin, and like they get quite ill from working in those factories. Yeah, I think those factories basically are just like rather toxic things, and people think that they're paying for cheap clothing. And the other massive issue, I think, is kind of, I mean, I think is this use of like malnourished models in magazines and in high fashion, models that are all tiny sizes and their cheekbones and their rib cages are jutting out and they just don't look healthy or happy. And then so many women and young girls use that as a standard for beauty, and they wear clothes and they think it should look like that on their body as it looks on these models who, even though they're women, they don't have any curves. I think this is really toxic, and it's really affecting women and men all around the planet, and like from an earlier age, and it's causing body dysmorphia and eating disorders, and people have very low self-esteem, and it's this whole industry, makeup as well, and they want that because then people keep buying the product to feel better, and I just don't think it's conducive to like a happy planet, basically. But what I see a lot happening now is like a lot of businesses, especially like more small scale ethical ones, are using like lots of different models of different races and like a much wider range. And as a consumer, I think this whole concept of slow fashion is buy less, but what you do buy probably going to cost a lot more in terms of money, but it's going to be higher quality, it's going to be made with love and in good conditions. So yeah, I think the consumer has so much power, and yeah, I think if the standard consumer could kind of just like claim that power and think about that a bit more and just buy with more awareness and less, but of higher quality. I think as soon as like bigger producers start realizing that that's what the consumer wants, and I think they'll also cater for that.
You made me so. Take time, but